Hi and welcome to The Winning Factor. I'm Alan Aitken, and on this show each week we take a look at some upcoming races in Hong Kong and try to isolate an angle to those races that might be a path to finding the winner. Well, it's dress rehearsal time on Sunday at Sha Tin, the Jockey Club Cup, Mile and Sprint. All the lead-up races, the designated lead-up races to International Day, ahead of next Wednesday's announcement of the runners for that meeting from all around the world. It's an exciting time. Those aren't the races that I'm going to deal with on this show this week. However, there is something I always like to refer to coming into this meeting, and that is the underperformance a lot of the time of the established stars in these races. So you can see on this table, now the conditions of these Group 2 races are set weights conditions. Group 1 winners in the past year carry 128 pounds. Other runners get a £5 allowance, although you see a small number of other weights are carried by horses with age or gender allowances as well. But basically it's Group 1 winners with 128 versus the rest with 123, and the £5 seems a small difference. But the Group 1 winners in the past year have a history of underperforming. Now, it does require a little bit of explanation on this table that the win percentage you see there, 29.4% for the horses carrying 128 pounds, that's a percentage of the races, because any particular race obviously can have a number of runners carrying the same weights. But more importantly, I want to point out on the right-hand side, you can see that the 128-pound horses have won, over the last 14 years, almost 6 fewer races than expected in these races, while the 123-pound carriers have overperformed. Now on Sunday, we're going to have 2 short odds favourites carrying 128 pounds and expected to win, but history is always worth remembering. So there's plenty of other information all around the Jockey Club website, interviews and insights into those Group 2 races. I'm going to have a look at a couple of races on the undercard, starting with race 5, where our winning factor is the winner up in class. So Class 3, 1400 metres here, and there will be fans of the very honest top weight, Gracious Express. Lucy in the Sky's second up run was excellent. Sunny the Best is in form, and Holly Doyle's ride, the Red Hare, has been consistently running on in his races. Those contenders, well, they're a pretty evenly matched bunch, but I'm sure the main player in discussions and in betting is going to be Invincible Ibis, Zach Purton's ride for Mark Newnham. He's a lightly raced horse, and now we're going to look at how Invincible Ibis put down his cards for a tilt at Class 3 with this win in Class 4. So this is race 61. He's in gate 14 with dark blue and white colours. Invincible Ibis jumps well, but there's too much pace under him, and Purton ultimately has to take his medicine and go back to avoid a very wide run. And in the end, he settles down in last place. The pace is okay though, and the race shape is helpful after the 800 metres. As the lead is slow, the field packs up a little and the back markers can creep closer without spending any energy. Still, Invincible Ibis has plenty to do once they straighten up, but unleashes a big finish down the centre to score coming away. So an impressive maiden win there for a lightly raced 4-year-old who has always shown good ability and is putting it together now. Now, I did mention that his rivals here are a fairly even-looking bunch, but I did want to highlight the last start win of Gracious Express, a horse who doesn't carry the same sort of promise as the favourite. He's won 3 from 19 in Hong Kong, but he's been very consistent and has loads of character. So this is race 112. He's in gate 14 in red and dark blue colours, and Gracious Express jumps well, but you see on the heat map, this is a fast run race with several horses pressing for the lead with real purpose. Now Matthew Poon doesn't go back on Gracious Express, and as a result never gets in. He tries to keep in touch with these fast leaders, but is caught out wide as a result. mostly with cover, but then wide into the breeze around the home turn. So he had plenty of excuses to lie down when it got serious, but you can see he just keeps on fighting and is able to outgame his rivals. And that sort of courage has been typical of this horse, Gracious Express, in his career in Hong Kong. He was even wider first up this season when he wasn't beaten far. So coming into a good gate on Sunday, he deserves plenty of respect. So let's take a look at the map. And both the horses that we're looking at from gate 14 last time are in gates 1 and 2 here. Now, that is a plus for Gracious Express. He's shown the ability to race handier to the lead effectively, but it might not be a positive for Invincible Ibis, who certainly doesn't have to be as far back as he was last time, but he will still give away a start, and traffic issues are a possibility. Still, the pace looks sound with perhaps 3 runners looking for the front, and that might help him. Our regulars will know that a winner up in class is an angle that I land on quite frequently, and it's a good one in Hong Kong racing. But I wanted to point out here just how things have changed in this area for Invincible Ibis's trainer, Mark Newnham. Now, in his first 2 seasons, Newnham had 24 winners up in grade for a last start win for just a single winner. Now, the current campaign is still an infant, I guess, so the sample overall isn't meaningful. But you can see Newnham already has had 7 winners up in class this season for 3 winners in a huge improvement. So the tip from me in race 5, Invincible Ibis. His winning factor, the winner up in class. Now, he's a young horse, lightly raced, plenty of promise, and ticks all the right boxes. He might need a good ride from Zac Purton from the inside draw, but there's a lot to like about him, and his trainer Mark Newnham has really upped his game in this area. The other race I want to look at is race 9, and our winning factor here, the map. So this is class 3, and while there might be some attention on David Hayes' newcomer, public attention, or chances given to horses like Igor Stravinsky or Yichong Glory down in the weights, I think we can bring this down to 3, maybe even 2 key chances. Impressive Class 4 winner Shering, and 2 runners coming off defeat behind the smart patch of stars, Skyjoy and Star Rise. So first to Skyjoy and Star Rise. This is race 111, gate 4 with mauve and white sleeves as Star Rise, who begins a bit slowly. Skyjoy from gate 10 in red and black is one of the first to begin, and he looks to push forward with the leading group. So he does do a little work in the early stages, but gets into a nice spot, 1 out, 1 back, in a race where the pace is only steady before a sharp sprint home. And that race shape doesn't help Star Rise, coming from a few lengths further back. But Skyjoy, he's there to challenge at the 300 metres. The winner, Patch of Stars, brushes by him, gets the lead, but Skyjoy still goes down, fighting back. A terrific run from Star Joy at his first start since January, and also an excellent performance from Star Rise with the race shape against him. So these are 2 horses ready to win a race. But I do think that most punters will land on John Size-trained Shering as the likely favourite off this first up win in Class 4. Race 165 is in gate 3, red with white sleeves, and Shering begins just okay, but has natural speed to use his draw and push 3 to be one of the first few. The pace is only average, and Shering gets to outside the leader, but when Zac Purton goes for him in the straight, he quickly shoots away. He's sent to the line and does it in good style by a wide margin. That was his second win in 5 starts, and Shering now goes from Class 4 to Class 3, but once again the map is going to hand him all the advantages. Last time we saw him able to use an inside gate to be on the speed, and again Zac Purton has all the options from barrier 1. Star Rise also draws low, so perhaps his new jockey James McDonald will try to have his horse a little closer, maybe even looking to follow Shering. But the horse hasn't been a speedy beginner in either of his Hong Kong races, and equally there is a chance he's crossed early and is 3 back on the rail in traffic. Sky Joy, meanwhile, has another wide gate. In 2 prior runs, similar draws, we've seen him push forward to be with the leaders. That's probably Jerry Chow's best option again, but you can see it doesn't look straightforward for him. So the tip from me in race 9, Sherring, his winning factor, the map. Now he's got a lot of things that we look for. He's lightly raced, upwardly mobile, and everything looks right for his introduction to Class 3. But I would say that Sky Joy has a very similar profile indeed. Swap the barriers, swap the maps, and I would be tipping Sky Joy as the one to beat. But that isn't reality. The reality is that Sherring's the one who gets the right map. Well, that's it from the winning factor this week. Good luck on Sunday. Enjoy the Group 2s. We'll see you next time.